What's up guys, it's JB Bricks here, and today we're going to be reviewing the LEGO Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter. Now this 7+ set contains 282 pieces and will retail for £30 or $30 on August the 1st. However, that being said, I did manage to find it for just £25 the other day in John Lewis, so different retailers might have different prices. Now if you're wondering how I managed to get this set early, no, LEGO did not send it to me. I just went into John Lewis, there was one on the shelf, so I picked it up. And whilst I was there, they also had the 4+ Endor set, however I didn't pick that one up as it didn't seem exciting as this one here. So let's get into the review and we'll start with the minifigs. Now this set contains 3 minifigs, each of which are exclusive. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi on the left, Taun We in the middle and R4-P17 on the right. So let's take a closer look at these minifigs and we'll start off with Obi-Wan. Now this Obi-Wan is absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favourite Obi-Wans that LEGO have put out in a very long time. Now as you can see, he comes with a blue lightsaber. Now this is in the more recent frosted design, whereas in the past they used to have this more see-through transparent design, but it looks like they've gotten rid of this one for the new design. If you were to ask me which design I prefer, I'd probably go with the older, more transparent version, but that could just be due to nostalgia. But anyway, let's get rid of that lightsaber and let me show you a closer look at this figure. So as I said, this minifigure is fantastic. He has some amazing printing that flows really nicely from the torso to the hips to the legs. Around the back, there's not too much going on, just a little bit of printing, but he does have a double-sided head. So here's a look at one side of his head. I mean, this face is fantastic. He's got his eyebrows raised in a little sassy way. Looks like he's just been dealing with Anakin. And then around the back, we have this head here with a headpiece and a much more serious expression. Now, this minifigure also comes with something else exclusive to the set, which is this reddish-brown hood. When you put this on, that looks absolutely fantastic. Oh, and here's a look at what he looks like with the alternate face. Now for the second minifigure in this set, we have our very first Kaminoan, Taun We. Now this is a minifigure that I've been waiting for absolutely ever. I mean, ever since I played the original LEGO Star Wars video game, I was needing a Kaminoan. And the good thing is, this minifigure doesn't disappoint. She's got some great torso printing, great skirt printing around the front and the back. And then obviously she has this brand new exclusive head molding, which I mean, the printing on that is absolutely fantastic, especially on the top. It flows around perfectly, and to be honest, I don't think LEGO could have done a better job. In terms of the plastic used for this headpiece, it isn't squishy, it is hard, but then again, I wouldn't say it's as hard as the torso. And also, it is completely printed. There's no dual molding going on here. All of this blue section is printed, as is the face, the eyes, and the top bit. And finally, we have Obi-Wan's trusty astromech, R4-P17. I mean, this is just pretty much a generic astromech. What I will point out though is that this printing of the silver band on his head is pretty flat, is pretty level, which is great to see because to be honest that rarely happens with astromechs. So now that we've had a look at these fantastic minifigs, let's take a look at the set. So here we have a look at the Jedi Starfighter, and if I'm being honest, this is one of the best Jedi Starfighters that LEGO have ever made. The set measures 25 centimeters long or 10 inches and truly is fantastic. With a lovely white, dark red and lime green colour scheme, this set has got features that no other Starfighter has ever had. So what are those features, I hear you ask? Well, let me tell you. So for starters, this set has the inclusion of a radar dish. Now this is something that we've never had before on a Jedi Starfighter, but given how prominent it is in episode 2, it really is a great addition. If you don't want the radar dish to be there, you can just remove it, but either way, I'm really glad it was included. And then next to the radar dish, we have this spinning bit here. Now I will admit, it does seem to get caught a tiny bit on this dark red piece, but what this is for putting the head of an astromech. So let's bring in R4 and I'll show you how it's done. So all you're going to want to do is grab the head and then put it there. And then just like that, we have finally got an astromech that can spin around built into a starfighter. Now the ability to have this astromech spin around is just a nice little feature. I mean, normally they're static, they're just put on some studs. But I do love how this is integrated. Now, it would have been better if that piece there was dark red instead of black. It would have blended in a bit better. But I understand why they didn't want to remold that piece, considering it doesn't look that bad, really. But now that the astromech's there, you're probably wondering, well, what do we do with the rest of its body? Well, LEGO have thought of that. So if we just angle the camera upwards a bit and we take a look at this section here, basically, you pull this off, and then in there, we have a spot to hide the astromech's body. So that sounded a bit dodgy, didn't it? Hide its body. So we put that there, put that back on, and there you go. You've got the entire astromech on this ship, and you wouldn't even know it. Now, as I'm sure you've noticed, this set also has a couple of the brand new stud shooters. I mean, this is my first set to ever include them. So let's take a look at how they work. All you do is push this down here, and it fires out like so. Bang, and bang. I mean, they are pretty, they're pretty powerful. They do their job. Would I prefer if they just left it blank? Always. I always would, but then again, LEGO had them for the kids, so I mean, it's fair enough. So let's take a look at the cockpit now, and I should probably mention before we get to the cockpit that all of these emblems you see here, they aren't printed, they are unfortunately stickers, but to be fair, none of them were too hard to put on. We've even got some back there, and so I do like how they look actually. They flow quite nicely between the green there, that green section flows nicely. We've got a couple of engines back here, but anyway, the cockpit. So inside the cockpit, we have a single printed control panel there. You can open it up. We've got a couple of studs in there to sit a minifigure. We've got a headrest going on there. So let me grab Obi-Wan, I'll put him in and show you what he looks like. So there's a look at Obi-Wan in the cockpit. He fits in there very nicely, and this is how it looks when it's shut. It's probably worth mentioning that you can fit Obi-Wan in here with his hood piece and the canopy shuts without any issues. So taking a look at the underside of the Starfighter, we of course have a landing gear which can be retracted as always, as well as a couple of clips here for you to whack in Obi-Wan's lightsaber. Like so. I mean, does there need to be 2 clips? Probably not, but you know what? It's nice and symmetrical, so I'm not going to complain. In terms of the design of the set itself, there is quite a significant gap here. As you can see there, you can see my hand there pretty well. Is there anything they could do about that? Realistically, probably not. Also, I feel like this bit here could maybe be a bit more pointed. What I would have recommended they did, I mean, this is just me, is take this piece here, move it forward a bit. I mean, look at that. Look how, you know, much more streamlined that point comes in. That's just my thinking. They could have moved that forward, put some extra plates in, I don't know, but it does work how it is. But I feel like, you know, the actual Starfighter does end in a point, and they've got that pointy piece there. If they'd have shifted it forward a bit, it could have looked all right. So there we have it. There's a look at the ship. In terms of the build time, this took me about 31 minutes, and we had these spare pieces left over at the end. The instructions for this set are in the new style, which I will admit I don't love compared to the older style, but we have this nice progress bar that runs across, which I guess that's quite cool. Here's a look at some of the upcoming sets coming up. So we've got BD1, ATTE, this 4+ set, which they did have in the shop actually. We've got a Cassian set, the Obi-Wan set, yeah, I probably won't be getting that one. We've got Cad Bane ship, and we've got the Inquisitor's transport. In terms of the sticker sheet, I mean, here's a look when it's done. There are quite a few stickers, but none of them were too hard to put on. So would I recommend this set? Absolutely. I mean, this is my first Phase 1 style Obi-Wan Jedi Starfighter. I do have the Anakin's one, but this is my first Obi-Wan one, and I mean, I'm really glad to finally have this in my collection. Even if you have the version from 2016, I would still recommend this set purely for the minifigs. I mean, this Obi-Wan minifig truly is absolutely spectacular. And I mean, you cannot go wrong with our first ever LEGO Kaminoan. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. And if you have, make sure to leave a like, make sure to hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do more reviews like this, because that is certainly something I can look into. Thanks for watching.